Hello, and welcome to the Unknown Author Podcast. I'm your host, Samantha Davenport. Today's book is Marked, Book 1 of the Ancestral Wars by Ashlyn Grace. This book is the first of a series. I haven't seen anything about a book 2 or if the author is working on it, but apparently it is a book 1. This is a very good, what I call a slow burn romantasy. Some may not classify it as a slow burn just because of the, I guess, sexual tension, but there's no anything graphic in it. You know, they just they have this tension, but they don't actually act upon it, even though they sometimes want to pounce the other person. But I call it a slow burn, but that's just me. Please read the episode summary for possible triggers, because there is a few besides the sexual tension. It's a little more violent and a little bit more vulgar language than what I have posted before. So just read the episode summary and make sure you'll be comfortable with it. This book is 526 pages long, so this one is a little bit of a doozy. So this is going to be a little bit longer than normal, especially in the book review. And this book was published August 13th of 2021. All right, now let's get into the book summary. Now, the book summary is in first person, so if you still hear me saying the I, it's not me, the author, saying it. It's just the book summary. All right, here we go. 200 years after the humans fell to the Draconic, it seems all hope for equality may be lost. The only light in the darkness is a prophecy handed down by an absent goddess that promises peace and prosperity following the union of the divinely chosen champion from each warring race. Now the marked have awakened, and the race is on, as they must find one another, accepting one another, before the High Council can eliminate the only threat to their power for good. If you didn't have bad luck, you have no luck at all. I doubt my dad meant those words to be even half as prophetic as they turned out to be, but alas, here we are, tucked in the armpit of the Adrienic, where anti-human sentiments were practically legendary in their cruelty. The High Council's announcements couldn't have come at a worse time. The marked had awakened, the champion of the human race was out there somewhere just waiting to fulfill the prophecy and claim their throne, and here I am, a Clanless Human, sporting a funky birthmark on my forearm and a bad attitude. I never would have guessed what it could mean. But it's hard to argue with the King of the Isles, especially when he shows off his own birthmark, the mirror image of my own. Now talking about mates and coups, and I've gotten a strange new magic I have to figure out how to control before the High Council and their loyalists show up to wipe us off the map. Lucky? Hell, I'm just hoping I don't blow myself up before I can figure out how to save my family. Alright, so I actually did like this book. I really enjoyed it. So it has a lot of good world building. Initially I thought this was like post-apocalyptic setting with the fantasy elements, but the more I read the world that Ashlyn had created, it became clear this is after a war that the humans did against the dragons, or I think there were 3 of them, but it's after the third one, something like that. But it is kind of post-apocalyptic. The characters were good and relatable, and I actually like the female lead. I usually don't really like the female lead. I normally have major issues with them because I don't care for them most of the time. For me, I think a good chunk of them are just worthless. But this one I really like. Her name is Sarah Lynn, which is actually a really cool, unique name. And I like that she's not an overpowered female lead, but she's also not a weak damsel in distress. She knows her weaknesses and her strengths. She's smart and she's sassy in a non-annoying way. And she's aware of her environment. She knows, hey, I know this is my world, but she also acknowledges, hey, I am ignorant of the other territories, but this is the world I live in and I know it the best. So in this book, each territory is ruled by a dragon or a dragon family. And it's kind of like a feudal system set in modern times. Like, the dragons are the nobles and the humans are the, like, commoners, so they're non-nobles. Now, the dragons themselves, she kind of touches in on the complex nobility like courts and like how dragons like interact with each other. It's very complex. And then but she primarily focuses on the dragons ruling the humans. Now, the dragons can actually shift between their dragon form and human form, but the majority of the time they're in a human form. But even when they're in their human form, they are much stronger and they have access to their magic that humans do not. Now, in this world at this time, humans have technology like cameras, computers, guns, bombs, etc. Due to several wars, because humans use that technology against the dragons, it's heavily regulated, especially the territories like in the book summary where humans are treated less than, essentially. It's strictly regulated. And this also depends on the territory, because there's dragons who don't see humans as livestock and just see them as people. But there's those who are like Sarah Lynn's, who just treat humans worse than trash. And the humans themselves are separated into different classes. So there's the clan and the clanless. To be considered the clan, those are the ones who swear allegiance to the dragon leader of that territory. And it's kind of like a vassal to a lord kind of contract. So the humans will serve the lord, which is the dragon. And the dragon is supposed to provide shelter, food, healthcare, education. But in Sarah Lynn's territory, the dragon and also the ones surrounding, they don't treat the humans very well. They abuse them. They use them for entertainment. Let your imagination roll there. But then there's the clanless, which is Sarah Lynn and her family and group of humans that she lives with. These are the humans who refuse to swear loyalty to the dragon, and they live on the outskirts of society. They're essentially scavengers. And there aren't any laws that actually help protect them. So if anyone gets injured or they need help with something or need food, they don't have anyone really to help get food or health care or anything like that. So it's like a double-edged sword. You get your freedom, but you're on your own. And the prophecy she's talking about is it's a dragon and a human who will rule over dragons and humans, basically uniting the two people. And with their union, they're going to have a child, which is going to be the first hybrid. Now, that's not to say there have been dragons and humans being in love with each other, but as far as I've read, there doesn't seem to ever been a hybrid child before. And Sarah Lynn, she has this birthmark, and she is terrified. Like, she's just like, I'm just here to survive. I don't want to rule. I don't want to be in the ability and speak fancy. I just want to live and have my family survive. And she also doesn't want to have a dragon as a husband. She does not have the best experience with them. She doesn't trust them as far as she can shoot them. And then she meets Bastion. And Bastion is a dragon. He is actually a prince of the king and queen of dragons. He actually grew up respecting humans. And he was just waiting for that mark to activate. Just like sitting there like kind of checking his birthmark watch and be like, is it glowing yet? Nope. And he grew up knowing all about the mark and its significance. And throughout the story, Sarah Lynn and Bastion, they keep hiding the marks even after they discover each other, because they're dragons and humans who would love to kill them because they don't want this union to happen, but it's mostly the dragons. But Bastion, he's actually a really sweet male lead. I actually really liked him. Like, he's very respectful to Sarah Lynn. He understands why she doesn't trust any dragon, including himself. But he works very hard to win her trust. But he also knows when to back off when she needs space. And he wants to work hard for this relationship. He wants them to be on equal footing. I really did like him as a male lead. There are a few criticisms. I will say the author does do a lot of info dumping. When a person or a place is mentioned, it can get a little bogged down. And there was also a formatting issue between two chapters. I think it was supposed to be actually another chapter, but it formatted really weird and it kind of threw me off. Overall, though, I will give this book a 4 out of 5 stars. It is actually really well written, even though the info dumping and a little bit of the formatting actually wasn't as bad as I described it, but it was enough I could overlook it. I really enjoyed the story, and the pace was really good, and I actually couldn't put it down. I was like, I gotta know what's happening next. Let's go. And Ashlyn, if you're hearing this, please have the sequel out soon. And this book is going on the bookshelf. So if I have piqued your interest for this book, please click the link in the episode summary to get your copy of the book. Alrighty, time to end the episode. I'm heading to the other book, which y'all should know by now. It is the Bible. And today's verse is actually Proverbs chapter 12, verses 17 through 19. Proverbs chapter 12, verses 17 through 19. Whoever speaks the truth gives honest evidence, but a false witness utters deceit. There is one whose rash words are like swords thrusts, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. Truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. So, what these 3 verses are talking about is basically how good and bad having a tongue can be. So you can speak the truth, but if you bear false witness, you are utterly being deceitful, even if you think you're being in good mind. I mean, even if you think you're doing good, it is deceit, no matter which way you throw it. But the rash words are like sword thrusts. They're wounding. But if you speak wisely, you bring healing. So it's the 2 faces of using the tongue. And always speak truthful, because that endures forever. Because when you lie, it's only for a moment there. So today is just to kind of remember, just be careful what you say and how you say it. Just be careful, be mindful of your words. Alright, so I'm going to start praying. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for everything you do. And Lord, I just pray whoever's listening that they are given wisdom by you, that you give them wise words out of their lips, but it's your words out of their mouth, Lord. And I just pray that words that are used for healing, we have enough words of hate, Lord. I just pray for healing and restoration for everyone who speaks, Lord. And I pray that when we speak, they see Jesus through us, Lord. And I pray this in your Son's holy name, Jesus. Amen. All right, thank you for listening to today's episode. All information about today's book, including the book summary, my grading system, and links are in the episode summary. I'm also an unknown author. I write young adult fantasy, and I just finished my first trilogy. Also on the episode summary is the link to my first book on Amazon. You can also find my books anywhere you buy books online. Are you an unknown author? Would you like me to read and review your book? You can send me your book information to theunknownauthorpodcast@gmail.com. A great way to support the show is to give a 5-star review and share with your fellow book dragons. Thank you and have a blessed day. Ta-ta!